What's up, cyberspace cadets? IRATE Prostate here with another lovely edition of Hot Takes on Netflix with my man, Big Fat Brian. Say hello, my friend.
What up, fam?
Yeah, we hanging in, and we're going to be talking about, of course, on Netflix. You know, we've been talking mainly about stuff on Netflix. Is the reboot of the science fiction classic series from the '60s, Lost in Space, and this show is very it's iconographic. It's to me because in 1960 there was a movie that Disney put out called Swiss Family Robinson, and it's from an old book in the in the late 1800s about a family that gets stranded on a desert island, and all the sons and one daughter and their father and their mother, they build this tree house, and they have to live in this house. They have to live off the land, and it's through their their knowledge of what they've learned in school, and their dad's all this, the family survives, right? They survive in the middle of nowhere, right? And they encounter these beasts and shit. So and Irwin Allen, who ended up becoming a huge director in the late 60s and then into the 70s, he was known for disaster movies like Towering Inferno, Earthquake, movies like that. And so that was his claim to fame. He also did Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which came out about the same time this did. So this series is very meaningful to me. So so we come now forward, since it started in 1965. And ended in the third season was the last season, so it ended in late 1968. Each season had 29 episodes, man, and each episode was like 51 minutes long. Compare that with what we get today. But anyway, enough about that. We're here to talk about the reboot of this iconic Danger, Will Robinson, Danger, with the bubble-headed robot and the Space Family Robinson. And without any further ado, we're going to run just random images from the series while Brian and I talk about it, and we're kicking up with that right now.
Man, those actors back then had to really work for their pay, didn't they?
Man, I'm telling you, they had to bust their ass. They really did, and most of them did their own stunts. And the set, oh my God, the set, the makeup, some of that makeup, the early stuff, the black and white stuff was done by Dick Smith. He was like the grandfather to all the modern makeup artists and shit. But he would, he had to use what he could find, like oatmeal and shit sometimes. Yeah, so we come to this reboot. I'm going to, from a big fan of the '60s show. Okay, I would come home afternoon. After school and watch the reruns of the damn thing for years after it, it showed and everything. And I love the show. And to be honest with you, I thought this show was a fair in a pretty good homage to the original show. I think it did it. There's a couple of, one of these things is not like the others. We'll talk about that in a minute, but
well, okay, so I mean, we all sort of know the story about the family Robinson, and I mean, because pretty much, sorry, I have a bit of a cold. Pretty much, if you didn't see the early series, you probably saw that really sort of crappy movie that came out in the 90s.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. I definitely remember seeing that as a kid. but you know, almost every generation has an idea of what happened for the storyline, right? So really, I think we should talk about the things that are the elephants in the room for this series. Like, for instance, the Doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Smith.
Yeah, Dr. Smith.
Yeah. And I like the way. Well, all right. I'm going to give the positives because I thought that Parker Posey did a good job with it. You know, they're going to do a flip on it and make it, you know, Dr. Smith a woman, of course, and of course Maureen is the scientist genius who does all the calculations and gets them out of all the shit, and the dad's the dumbass grunt, you know, from the army who doesn't know jack shit about astrophysics, but he can sure kick some ass, you know. So there's, you know, there was all these make these differences in it, but all right. So you want to go from an acting standpoint, or you want to start with the story itself? Do you want to start with some of the science? Because there's some fucked up science here, man. That I'm not going to let them get away with on this shit.
Yeah. I think we should start with, like, you know, the cast and sort of comparing them to the original cast and what we thought of, like, the gender swaps and all of the, you know, the changing of the robot and all that. Because that's really the biggest thing that you can notice right off the bat when you're looking at this, right? For me, the gender swap on Dr. Smith, yeah. I'll be honest, I think it makes more sense that Dr. Smith is a woman.
Man, I thought she was great. I thought she did a great job in the part.
Yeah.
You know, I think all of this, I think the whole thing, I don't know. I liked it. I'll be honest with you. I liked it, and I'll defend it. I'll defend this.
Did you get the nostalgia factor from it?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I went back on Hulu. The first, all 3 years of the original series are available, right? And I watched the first 2 episodes, and the beginning of the series, the first episode, it is an homage to the first episode of the other one, because they when they land, they're on they're in the Arctic. You know, there's pretty much everything except for the fucking, Cyclops with the fucked up teeth, which was really badly done, in retrospect. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I thought the whole thing, the Dr. Smith's story about, you know, all right, so I guess we need to tell everybody what the fuck's going on, because there's more than one family involved in this thing. So you're going to see, you know, some Asian people. You're going to see an Indian guy. So you're going to see all these different groups of families, right? Something happens around Christmas time. Why around Christmas time, I have no fucking idea. But this meteor, it seems like a meteor or a comet, just comes out of nowhere and crashes into, you know, we learned later that it's, you know, not necessarily that, but it crashes into the earth and does something to the atmosphere, has some kind of effect on it. And so all of a sudden, 2 years later, they're like saying, let's go to Alpha Centauri and just, do Earth 2 there. And, the people, the not so, it's almost like if you're worth a shit, it was almost a socialist kind of a thing, you know. It's like if you were useful, to society, then, you're coming with us. And if you're not, well, hey, you may get a nice house out of it, but fuck. it's
well, I mean, rough. That does make a lot of sense. I mean, even think about the fact that we're planning on colonizing Mars, right? Mm-hmm. They're only taking the best and the brightest. They're not taking Joe Schmo delivery truck guy to Mars.
Well, no, not. But see, they've already, at this point in time, though, like Don West, the dude with the chicken, which is Debbie was the name of the monkey with the pointed ears in the original series. So that was another nod, right? But that he said that he had been on previous trips to Alpha Centauri, so they were like the second or the third trip, the group of settlers that were going there.
Didn't they say Colony 3 or something? Colony 4?
They're Colony 3, and they were talking about like 4 or 6 missions. I can't remember what the guy said, but it was an even number. I remember that. And the way that they tell the story in the series is that there's all this like they did this like multiple time sequence thing, kind of like Westworld. Westworld does it good. These guys kind of it's iffy at best, but I'm not watching it to really. I don't give a shit really why. This shit's going on. I just want to get into the story and find out about the family, and they do that pretty well.
I just gotta say, Go Man in the chat there says Big Fat Brian will go. He can cook and polish balls.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Goat Man. That's lovely.
And one of these days, I hope Brian will polish my balls.
Only if you let me hammer them first.
Oh man. So all right. So would you want to? All right. Let's talk about the family. Okay. All right. The dad is, instead of being the astrophysicist that the original dad was, this guy is a Marine. He's he's not so much on the science, but he's rough and tough, and and he's very handsome man. He's a very good looking actor. Which is the whole the original cast were like beautiful people too, so that's that's neither here nor there. That's expected, I guess, at this point. I thought Molly Parker did a great job as a Marine, the wife. I can't remember the redheaded lady that played the original Marine. I think her real name was Marine something in reality though, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Then there's Judy, okay, which on the original series is this gorgeous blonde chick who looked like she was about 25, 26 years old, but the character's really supposed to be about 18, and they kept. It's interesting what they did with Judy and Penny is that they pretty much stayed. Loyal to their ages and to their scientific ability, because they were supposed to be very smart. Judy's more like a nurse. They had her groomed as of course in the 60s they would never have made her a doctor. Even I think we were watching it, and the original series takes place in 1997. In the future, which I thought was a hoot. And then Penny is a zoologist on the original series, where this one is more of a math whiz. And then Will, what did you think about the way that they did Will with the psych problems?
I don't know. I thought that the original Will Robinson. He seemed like a really, really, really intelligent kid from the original series, right? Right. And he was very outgoing and didn't really seem to have any doubts in himself, Right. And this one's like an emo pussy version.
Yeah, kinda. And he's kind of like has panic attacks and shit. And he doesn't fit with the original Billy Mummy, icon that. People like, William Stenchover, he knows exactly what, he probably watched this show every night like I did when it was on. Will Robinson was like this fearless kid, and he was supposed to be the every boy. He befriends this robot in the second series. The robot was, I don't want to get into the details, for this series, because I think it's important that I think we need to. I don't know if do you want to spoil it. I mean, we spoiled everything else.
I mean, we did give him 2 weeks to watch it.
Yeah, we did give him 2 weeks to watch it. So you're right. So this robot apparently was sent. We don't know if it's like a cybernetic race or whatever, but it was sent to retrieve something that was part of that whole comet / meteor thing that crashed. It was some kind of space vessel, and there was something about it. That's where they got the hyperdrive technology and the stuff. So they were able to go to Alpha Centauri. And you find this out through when they give glimpses in the past, so
like flashbacks.
Exactly, that's the word I was looking for. It was and so you find out that, of course, the big bad government and the corporations have usurped this technology that fucking hit our planet. Okay, finders keepers is what I say. But you know what? So, but this was sent to retrieve said object, and it was on the object that they obviously were after was on this specific flight, because I don't know what it was. It was like some kind of egg-looking thing that would look like a bundle of technology with lights and shit on it, and evidently it was responsible for gravity being on the ship too. Did you catch that?
Yes. Yeah. When they were flying, yeah.
Yeah, they go up and they go, how come we're not fucking floating? And it's like and what it had done, the robot had attached this thing to the bottom of what they call the chariot, which is the extra vehicular or extra vessel vehicle, not vehicular. But so it was
utility tube with tires, yeah.
Exactly. It was really cool looking little vessel. The original chariot was tracked, and it was that's probably what got me interested in tanks and shit. Tracked vehicles was probably that thing. It was made out of plexiglass too, and I had some pictures, but it seemed like the slideshow wasn't working right. So
Death Harukin says, once it lands on my planet, I can claim it.
That's what I say, man. Fucking, wreck my shit. And,
exactly.
I mean, come
it's
on.
Mine now.
That's right. So, but something happens, and the robot gets fucked up, and Will saves its life for some reason. With that reminded me of you remember the old cartoon where the guy saws off the tree? Of course, he's sitting on the wrong side of it. But at least Will was smart enough to be on the other side. The thing fell off right, and then of course it magically attached itself back to its legs. I didn't get that technology at all, dude. I'll be honest with you. It didn't. It didn't.
It didn't seem exactly like. It sort of seemed like magic, is what it seemed like.
I think what I think they're going for, man. I think they're trying to go for like the technology of the proto-molecule that's in the Expanse.
Oh yeah.
That kind of technology.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I that's the only excuse I can give it.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't explain its affinity for small children.
Well, right, and then, apparently, if you reboot it and shit, it'll if it's the first thing you see, then it's your buddy.
That's right. Is it a duck? What
exactly? It's like
why does it work this way?
It's a mama duck, right? That's a great duck. I like that. but it has this nifty, ability to like, heat things. And so there's a lot of complexity to the guy that, and of course there's an actor inside of the, inside of the robot. And I've got a list of all the names and stuff. Let's see, I'll pull it up here and I'll give you, his name's Brian Steele. Okay. So you want me to go and just tell who everybody is and who plays them real quick, since I've got that pulled up?
I mean, I'd probably only go over the major characters.
Yeah, I am. Like John Robinson, the dad, is played by Toby Stevens. Maureen Robinson is played by, I said earlier, Molly Parker. Let's see, Judy Robinson. I think her name is Taylor Russell. Penny was played by Meena Sundwal, and I think that Will is played by I don't see, I didn't get his name. I didn't get the kid's name. Sorry, dude. And then Don West was played by this guy named Ignacio Siracchio, and I think he is a Brazilian actor. Is either Brazilian or Spanish? Is my guess. I thought he was funny as hell. I thought he did a good job playing the more comical part.
Yeah, he was great. I really, if anyone was going to take the cake on the acting, though, the woman who played the mother, what was her name again?
Molly Parker. She was
Molly Parker.
Deadwood. She had been on House of Cards and shit. So she's a decent actress, man.
She plays a fantastic bitchy mom.
It's interesting, the way that she makes her like a really that character was. All the whole family and their dynamics and shit was real believable, except for the fucking, basket case Will. Even Judy with the PTSD after being frozen. Dude, I don't know about you, but if I was frozen and I couldn't fucking move, that would fuck me up. I would be fucked up after that. That'd be like being buried alive and shit, man. At least if you're buried alive in a box or some shit, you can move a little bit, man. She couldn't move at all, except her head. So I mean, that was pretty fucked up, So
I mean, to be fair, with that daughter, in the very beginning, I was like, "What is this?"
Yes, one of these things is not like the others.
How did this happen?
Right, exactly.
He gonna be mad, like, like I was like, "What's going on here?" But then, luckily, and this is, I just want to say, this is something that needs to be in every series. If you're gonna do that and not have a family make sense. They explained that she was previously married in one sentence.
Exactly.
Super easy.
And that's all they needed, because it's like, that one of these things is not like the others. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth when I saw them sitting around the table. I'm like, okay. It makes a lot more sense to that bullshit that lasted Fantastic Four movie, man. Holy shit.
I didn't watch that.
Did you even watch that? Oh my God.
No, why would I?
You did yourself a goddamn favor. I'll never get that hour and 48 minutes back.
I mean, I saw the original one, so no.
They'll never ever do a good Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
I think that I don't think they'll ever be able to do a good one. You know why? Because I think
it's not that good.
I think it's a dead concept.
That's true.
I don't think it works anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even think it works in a comic book. But anyway, back to our show. Shoot. All right, so they end up on this planet that's going through all these changes and shit, and they've got to get off the planet. The first thing they encounter is these eel-like things that like to eat fuel. So they're stuck. Pretty much everybody that's down there on the planet with them, they're stuck there because they don't have anything to use as fuel. And then I think it's Will that figures out, what is it, magnesium or manganese sulfate or some shit like that. What was that burns hot on ice?
You know, if I wasn't sick, I would be able to tell you right away.
You probably would.
But I'm pretty sure it's magnesium.
Yeah. And right, and they figure out that there's a whole shitload of it on the planet, so they'll be able to get something to make fuel out of, right?
Yeah, but phosphorus. Phosphorus.
Right.
Magnesium phosphate.
Exactly, magnesium phosphate. That's it. And so, but they can't really get enough of it to do any good, because it's so volatile, and so the whole thing, and we find out that there's like about 11 or 12 other ships like theirs on board. For some reason, they're all named Jupiter, and this one happens to be the Jupiter 2, named after the original, of course. You know, trying to keep it in line with the original series as possible. So these other families and stuff, you know, they're like, holy shit, you know, we got to get off of here, because the main mothership is called the Resolute, and it's they never really explain what the hell happened that, you know, got them out there, right? Because it looks like to me that it went through some type of wormhole or some shit.
Yeah.
It did, you know what I'm saying, man? It did just. It was like, what the fuck? You know, why are they so far? Because the mother says in the first episode, well, we've ended up like this far away from Alpha Centauri when we were only this far away when we started. And I'm going, well, how in the hell did that happen, right? Excuse me. So I don't know if these aliens have the ability to create wormholes or whatever, or if they just accidentally had a wormhole. So, and how they're so fucking confident about how they're going to get back to Alpha Centauri. None of that ever made any sense to me. And that's a crew, what, about 500 people on that? On the Resolute?
Yeah, about 500 people.
Yeah.
You know, I would even say more, just because we don't even know the size of the ship.
Right, exactly. It looks like it could probably hold at least 500.
Yeah, I feel like if it's a colony ship, it probably should hold somewhere in the thousands range. But
well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like a crew of about 500 with the passengers being the cargo. And you know, and then the problems with the antenna. You know, they finally found, you know, that the antenna on the Resolute's fucked up, so they'll never be able to talk to it. So, you know, and so and it's like a typical episode of Lost in Space. You know, they're stuck on. They're trying to, you know, the whole idea is to get back to, you know, their home. In this case, it's going to be Alpha Centauri, I guess. You know, where it was Earth in the original series. So.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to thank Jacob Navo for the magnesium sulfate.
Yes, magnesium sulfate. Yeah, I was incorrect on that.
It doesn't matter.
So, how did you feel about like the progression in the episodes? Because personally, I felt like a lot of the episodes they could have been shorter and half the episodes, and I would have gotten the same amount of information.
That's what I was going to say. I would rather seen it be a six episode type deal, like a British, more of a British approach, and cut out all the bullshit, and you know, like the little love affair between the girl and the kid. I see how that would develop and stuff, and you know, and the flirtatiousness and the whole deal. With the arguing over the, you know, who's going to run this, you know, who's going to run this thing, you know, because I'm the boss and all that shit, which is, you know, it's all, you know, to a degree, I guess, realistic, but it was unnecessary, you know. So, yeah, I'm with you on that, man. It could have been, I would have been happy with 6 really solid episodes of just, you know, pure meat. You know, tell me the story, and because it was, you know, in the long run, it's just like I'm going to recommend that people watch this. To be honest, you know, I'm not going to shit on this thing because I think it's worth seeing, especially if you're a fan of the old series, because you'll be tickled at how clever they were at taking care of this stuff. You know, because I just thought it was wonderful, and the special effects were fucking outstanding. You know, the CGI, the robot, the assassin robot thing, man, with the arms and shit thing. That thing was bad as hell, man. That was so cool looking. So we got a peek at Peter Parker's Iron Spider suit with that thing on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I really thought that the special effects were 10 out of 10. I mean, absolutely. you couldn't have asked for more. They did even the things that weren't special effects. All the props that were in there looked like they belonged as part of a futuristic society / adventure. You know, none of it really seemed like, hey, why is that guy wearing jeans over there? You know,
right.
It was all very well done. There wasn't a whole lot out of place when it came to actually making the scenes look like they were from an era where we have the ability to fly in space like this.
And Dillwild asks a fantastic question, and yes, I have seen Stargate Universe, man, and I loved every bit of that series, and I was so pissed off when they canceled it because I thought that they had only gotten their footing, and the series was just getting good when they canceled it. And I fucking hate it when they do that shit. You know, if you're gonna kill it. Oh, what did you see it, man?
Yeah. Stargate Rumpelstiltskin. Right? Because that's what that guy plays in the other. What was it? Once Upon a Time or whatever he's in.
Oh, really? The British guy?
Yeah.
I mean, the
British
Scottish
guy.
Dude? Yeah.
Yeah, Stargate Rumpelstiltskin is what I used to call that. I thought it had a lot of potential. Season 1, Season 2, I was like, what are you doing? There's nothing going on. Nothing. It was basically like a lifeboat simulator where they just shot a ship out into space and said, hey, deal with this. We're not going to progress the story anymore from here. Season 2 is going to be us putting you on a lifeboat, and that's your storyline for 15, 20 episodes?
All right. So all right, are you talking about this reboot series, or are you talking about the movie? Because I agree with that. That quote exactly is what I said about the movie. The acting sucked, the script sucked, the science sucked. The only thing that was cool was the robot, and that's exactly the way I felt about the movie. As a matter of fact, I had a model kit of the robot, and I ended up selling it for like twice of what it was worth. So I got a good deal on it. But anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Well, you know, why don't we talk a bit about the science in this?
Okay. Yeah,
because that probably was the most disappointing part for me.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have any specific examples?
Oh shit! The fuel. First of all, okay.
Yes.
How are you going to have like what sounds like to me to be just like some type of fossil type fuel?
Yeah.
You know, it's like okay. I thought we were running out of that shit. I thought it would be gone by then. You know what I'm saying?
Well, even so, let's say it's what some people would call helium-3, which is like a liquid form of helium, right? That's still, you know, I don't know. It seems like an inefficient way to move it and have all of that episode where they're going to get the fuel, right? I feel like there's gotta be some sort of faster pump than will take 3 hours. There's no way that they would let that slide, you know. I don't know. Whoops. I always do that. I'm terrible with that.
Are you okay, Vin? You okay, Vin?
No, I didn't fall out of the chair. It's just the microphone. Yeah. For instance, the part that really threw me was when the two parents get stuck in their rover, right, and they fall into that tar pit.
Yeah, man. And then I was like, are they for real? I see, that was totally unrealistic to me. How the fuck they got out? They were fucked, dude. They were dead, man. I mean,
well, not just that. I mean, like when you're in a tar pit, you sink really, really slowly.
Right.
Really slowly. And also, you're in a car that has a bubble of air in it. You know? So your mass distributed over the area of this tar is not going to equalize out to you underneath the tar. You're going to be sitting there for quite some time before it actually pulls you under.
Right, and they would have been able to like lay something on top of that. If they had that thing on there, they would have been able to just pull it out and just lay it on top of the surface and walk out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, if you haul ass, I think you could at least get a couple steps and then do some type of swim type thing. I see what you're saying. That may I think
not just that, but
go ahead.
Isn't the tar horribly hot?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I was like, they're crawling out of the tar in a turkey bag. And I cook things this way.
And then you get burned or anything. That's a great...
Nothing. Yeah. They got tar on them, and they're just like giggling and kissing each other like, oh, you silly you. And I'm like, that would burn your skin off. What are you talking about? Why?
Oh, shit.
Why are you laughing right now? It's just, this is not how science works.
Yeah, Captain Corrosive, she makes a great point. I liked it, but the we're screwed, we're saved, we're screwed, we're saved, we're screwed, we're saved thing shit was a bit much. And I was kind of like the same, man. I was like, okay, come on. When are we going to get off this rock?
What up, Captain Corrosive?
That's right. She is a fan of ours, man. And I feel honored.
I love Captain Corrosive.
She's awesome. Her shit's great. I love the Targaryen on the phone with the Indian dude. That is classic shit. Everybody should check. Everybody in this room, sub her right now and go. And when we're through, go listen to everything she's done in the past 2 months. It's funny as shit. She's got it, man. Anyway, I'll shut up. I'm queening out over you, girl. Yeah. So she said they had a rope that could have climbed the damn tree. No shit. There's all these ways they could have got out of that stupid tar pit, man.
Yeah.
Oh man. So all right. So then, where are we at in this here series? We figure. All right. Yeah, they find the guano. The guano stuff. The guano fuel, I guess. Right.
Yeah, the poo fuel.
The poo fuel. And and then they figure out there's like these giant, bat lizard fucking things. It's like, well, no shit, it's fresh poop, dude. What did you think?
Right.
And what about I really liked the little Manchurian Candidate thing that the fucking Dr. Smith pulled on that the lady that had the PTSD, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But but the ending, the way it came out, but I really liked the way she manipulated her. That was really good. But the outcome was not exactly as believable as I wanted it to be. But I still liked it. I still like that.
Like, I don't think that somebody. I guess it. So somebody who's logical wouldn't shoot a metal robot with a gun, especially if they're, you know, in the future, and this person works with ships. She probably knows.
All right, here's my question, Brian. How can you fucking use a 3D printer to make a gun that works? Okay, we've seen this twice now. Okay, it was in the fucking Cloverfield Paradox movie, and then it was in this. Okay.
Well, I'm assuming it's the future. I'm assuming that the 3D printer prints in some sort of.
Oh, so there's like plastic that's that can be turned into gunpowder and primer and.
Oh no! I was talking about the actual.
No, the actual mechanical part of the gun. Yeah, I can see, but the bullets. What's it going to fire?
That's true. You bring up a good point here. Maybe she made her own bullets.
In both of these situations, man, that was my question: is how the hell is that thing going to fire? And what's it going to fire?
She had a bunch of coal and she was pressing diamonds in the back room. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah,
but see, I'm looking at a picture right now of the robot that on attack on the ship, on the main ship, the Resolute, that went there to retrieve the contraband item.
You're just not open-minded enough. Sometimes guns don't need bullets to kill people, I guess.
That's right. I forgot. It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
And who runs it?
Look, you don't even know. They were firing walkie-talkies.
Guns. That's right. People don't kill people. Guns kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Just point and shoot, man. No matter
even when they're not loaded at all.
Holy shit, man. That's just fucked up. Let's see. I'm really enjoying the like I predicted. The crowd's more engaged on this one, man, because everybody had a chance to watch it. Next week we're gonna be doing the anime trilogy of Berserk. So
Berserk.
That's right. So you anime freaks, all right. I'm finally gonna I think make you happy.
I know, right?
Because that live action Full Metal, whatever the fuck, was pure shit.
Oh fuck, that was terrible. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like revising my after some time. I feel like revising my review on that and just dropping it a little more by like 1 point.
All right. Well, Death Irukan points out something. He says we have direct energy weapon, right? I was thinking, well, is it like a mini rail gun? And it's still, I don't think that the physics works out that you can make a pistol-sized rail gun. I don't think you can. I don't think that's possible. But who am I? You know, I'm not an engineer. You know, it's been working with.
Death Irukan is also right when he says Griffith did nothing wrong. So
Wifey Hunter's fucking with you, man. So at Big Fat Brian, are you watching dubbed movies or subbed movies?
Oh, for sure. I'm watching the subbed version. Sorry. Not the sub, the dubbed. I'm having a cough attack here.
Poor Bubba, man. So, you got a chest cold.
And then, yeah, it's pretty bad.
And then Herb ain't helping there, does it?
Well, I mean, I.
God bless you.
Yeah, it's an edible form, so it's not really hurting it.
Oh, okay, well, cool. All right.
But
back in my day, we had to smoke this shit, son.
But yeah, no. I'm going to be watching the dubbed version because I'm not reading the movies.
Right.
That's one of the things that I really don't like doing is having to read the movie.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I'll watch a 3-hour French movie that's slow as shit, and I'll read every bit of it. But I understand Brian's complaint with that. I think Netflix really needs to deliver on that and give a good English audio track for everything that's not in English as its main language, and even maybe even some of the more thick like Scottish accents and shit, because some of that stuff is really hard for people to to understand without subtitles. I have to use subtitles on some British stuff. I'll cop to that. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But yeah, Sir Adamantine said the Griffin did nothing wrong either, and I agree with that 100%. That Griffin is 100% innocent. So has anybody got any questions or comments on this series?
I think that another portion of the series that we should probably talk about is that whole black hole thing at the end.
Yeah, man. Okay, yeah. Okay, so they've got to get out first of all because they're in they're right at near the what's really called the event horizon of a black hole, right? They're getting too close to it, so they've got to haul ass out, or else they'll be stuck in the gravitational eddy. So that's the main reason they have to leave. But they also don't explain, well, how in the fuck are you going to get back to Alpha Centauri? They still never explain that. All right, and then at the very end, the ship, the Resolute, is coming back to pick them up so they can all get the fuck out and be one big happy, transport ship again. And then all of a sudden, this thing just opens up, and the Jupiter 2, and not the Resolute, only just the Jupiter 2 is sitting there in front of this. Looks like it looks like two stars starting to collide and become maybe into a black hole. That don't happen in fast motion, for beings our size and the way we experience time. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But
get into some weird physics on that shit. So,
well, I mean, I don't particularly care too much about the physics because enough of the audience doesn't know shit about physics that it's not gonna. They're just gonna be like, "Whoa, wormhole opened up and sucked up the ship," That's fine, but the part where the robot takes over their ship with its weird tentacle things it never had before, and then sort of opens up the wormhole is a little odd. I'm really wondering what the next season, what they're going to go into, because there's just, I don't know. There's how are you going to have that robot be part of the family when they know that it has betrayed them pretty much at every step?
I know, man. And then the fact that Dr. Smith had such power over it, how do we know it's not going to bump his head and suddenly think, oh yeah, I forgot, I'm looking for her,
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the odd chance that somebody will be playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots with it for power.
Hey man, thanks Excel. I mean, you just donated $5. Thanks, buddy. Priest. It says payday shekels for you. Well, thank you. Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt your program, but I have to say that.
We got Accelerate in the chat. I'm pro at physics. I've seen every episode of PBS Space Time. and yeah, you're you don't have to be pro at physics, Captain Corrosive, to know that a black hole probably would suck that fucking planet up, just like and not just scorch it. Yeah, I mean, if there's a black hole in the solar system, it's probably sucking a lot of things up.
Right, exactly. The whole deal with the black hole is that when when it collapses, anything within its gravitational pull is fucked. You know, and what do they call the spaghettification?
Oh yeah.
You know, where it becomes the atoms become elongated and shit. You know, I mean, it breaks you down, man, on a molecular level. I mean, you can't imagine what that fucking shit's about, right?
Well, you would never experience yourself being crushed into the black hole, because technically it would never happen for you because of how time works around a black hole.
Right. Right. At some point, the way you experience time is going to it's just going to stop existing.
Yeah, you would just sort of sit there, stuck in one moment forever.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or at least for the perceivable ever of the outside world from that black hole.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's something being having such a strong gravity that it fucking pulls light in. You know?
Oh yeah.
That it bends light. I've always just been fascinated by, you know, Einstein, and you know, it's still turning out that his stuff and Hawking's theories are starting to get proved. You know, they finally got a good shot of Hawking radiation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they yeah.
He finally contributed something to society. I'm not all that impressed with the token disabled guy of the physics community.
Yeah, but man, he does that English accent so well, man.
True.
I'm sorry.
When he died, I'm like, you people don't even know what he did, do you?
She goes, came across and says, and the old Asian dude was like, all these trees are only a year old. How the fuck can an entire planet re-go at full size all back to life in 1 year? Space magic. That's right, Death I Rude.
Yep.
Oh man, the chat's getting good. Remember the way that we designed this thing was, if you got Discord, you can hop in my Discord and hang out with us for a couple minutes and talk about this shit.
Please do. My throat is killing me.
Yeah, man. help Brian out, and if you want me to, I'll put an invite. Let me.
Also, you had a $5 donation. I don't know if they left a message or anything.
Yeah, that they did, and it went out across the air. That's what I was saying earlier about shekels.
Oh, when I was having my coughing fit.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. I'm going to put this in the description. Because if you put it in the chat, it will not connect you to Discord. I just don't like that shit.
Gotta love YouTube.
YouTube, man.
YouTube.
Hey, man. It's not my tube. It's YouTube.
We put some duct tape on it and it stick to the description. Didn't stick in the live chat.
Oh man, where's Stone Mexican guy when we need him?
Right.
Indeed. Okay. So yeah, use that Discord link and hop in general chat, and then we'll pull you into kernel chat. That was a bad joke.
I gotta say, so the doctor, right? Dr.
Smith.
Why am I blanking? Yeah, Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith did a fantastic job of presenting borderline personality disorder. Like,
yeah, she was brilliant, man.
Yeah,
that was perfect. Oh God, yeah, you're right, man. Perfect, and with histrionic features. You're absolutely right. That's a good catch, dude. I'm impressed. Your diagnostic skills are good.
Well, literally, she must have like
known somebody.
pulled the DSM-6 out or something, and was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be acting like right here, because she literally acted in every way like somebody who has that disorder.
Right, and we have in our rating room, we have JoJo343, also known as Jacob Navo, and we're going to pull him in. And Jacob, you there, buddy?
Yeah.
What up?
I'm doing good.
Good, man. What did you think about this?
Well, I'm on episode 1,
Okay,
but it's really good how they tell the story.
good.
Except the flashbacks are worse than Westworld.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think Westworld does a better job at kind of the way that they layer them to where it once
It
you
makes you
figure
question them out.
Yeah, exactly, and you start questioning what's going on, and who's what, and it's really good. Well done.
But I did like the guy playing the dad.
Yeah, somebody was saying that he was in Dark Sales.
Black Sails.
Sails.
It was a Stars TV show about Blackbeard.
Yeah. Arrgh.
But man, the whole the thing of like all I know is that Dr. Smith is not Dr. Smith.
Don't worry, man. It'll be well worth it later.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
She is hot.
What?
She's hot. The actress.
Dr. Smith, the actress, is hot.
Parker Posey, she cleans up pretty good. I understand what he's saying.
Wait,
And,
wasn't she on Luther?
I don't think so. I don't believe she was on any of the episodes of Luther. Not that I can recall.
I'm not talking about Lucifer. I'm talking about the British show of Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about the girl, the redhead?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not her. I can't remember that actress.
Oh.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, those memes if Griffith did nothing wrong. It's technically a spoiler for Berserk.
Okay.
No, it's not. Berserk next time, but don't worry, that's not a spoiler.
But I cannot wait to go see the Avengers tomorrow. Yeah, but I mean, I know it's not gonna be as good as the book, but it's gonna be better than the remake they tried to remake of it.
Okay.
I mean, because the Infinity Gauntlet book, the Avengers have nothing to do with it, other than they're in the comic. So this movie is probably different than the Infinity Gauntlet book.
Yeah, probably. Captain Corrosive in the chat says she's creepy hot, like not an average hot, but so crazy it's hot.
Indeed, exactly. Crazy in the head, baby, means crazy in the bed. And you know that's right.
That is true. That is true. But
and the robot looked awesome.
What?
Yeah, it was cool.
I don't think anyone wants to have sex with a robot.
No, I mean, it kind of looked like an Iron Man armor.
I can see that. That. But Jojo, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open the room up. So we want to invite some new people. All right. So get back to me, and you and I will talk one-on-one about what you think about the rest of the series when it's done. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. And if anybody else, like I said, just click the Discord in the description there, and it should bring you to at least the waiting room, and then hop in the voice chat waiting room below where you see Brian and my little round avatar things, and we'll pull you right in. Captain Corrosive would bang the robot with a hot dog.
Oh man! Also, she said Parker Posey might be a. Oh, sorry. Parker Posey might bite a D off. It's scary and exciting, lol. Yikes! Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, once you hit that age, though, you realize crazy ain't not worth it. It ain't not worth it.
Right.
You know, one day you're gonna wake up, nub bound in duct tape, blood everywhere, and you're gonna be on the news because your wife threw your penis out the side of the car. Doesn't work out.
Oh my god. So, all right, so we're right at the top of the hour. Since I guess it doesn't look like anybody else is going to pop in, you just want to talk about grades and shit, and do a quick exit.
Yeah, let's go over this bad boy.
All right,
you first or me first?
Do you want me to go first, and so you can rest your thing? Or you want me to go last? I'll do
go ahead and go first.
All right. So here's the deal. In my opinion, I think that this show was an excellent homage to the original series. I think that given the way that effects wise, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Just complete show, the whole production, etc. I'm going to give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I'm going to throw away the science stuff that pissed me off because, it's just, this is just meant to be enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let them slide on that shit. So I combine. I guess that gives them what, about an 8.5, maybe 8.7, maybe. I'll give it. I liked it a lot, and I recommend people see it. Of course, anything can be better in my opinion. I have yet to see the perfect show.
Well, so for me, I would say, being that I don't, I saw a couple of of the episodes of the show, the early version, the one from 68 or 60,
65 to 68,
65 to 68, yeah. So I saw a couple of episodes as a kid growing up, and then I saw the really shitty movie remake, and this is by far better than that shitty movie remake. As for the show, I think that the old show had a really corny nostalgia factor, which made it all the more fun. For me, I would call it the Stargate SG-1 factor, where you're sitting there and none of this is really believable, but it's fun because you don't care. Yeah, you're really there for the story.
Right.
On this, I think that the graphics being so good sort of brought that down a little bit. The whole nostalgia, loose comedy factor was not there. But I do think that they did a great job on the acting. Hands down, the Doctor, that was amazing. In fact, the only complaint I have with any of the acting is probably the kid and the robot, ironically enough, because they have some sort of weird relationship.
Yeah,
where
the robot just looked kind of retarded, man.
It did. It looked a little retarded.
It was like, what is this, huh? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Huh? Danger Will. It's like, I am Groot. I am Groot. It's like, Danger Will Robinson. That's all he could say. What the fuck? Maybe his vocabulary will increase next year.
Maybe it will,
because the robot on the original series, man, he would, he'd tell you.
He just talked his head off.
Exactly, man. He was awesome, and he could do shit. He could do electricity out of his fucking little pincers and shit. I got a little one around here, man, a little electric one that says Danger Will Robinson's 18 inches. It's bad as fuck. I love it.
That's what she said. Oh. No. So yeah. I can't even really think of anything else that might have lowered or raised the score all that much. I'm going to give this a solid 7.5.
Okay.
Because it's above average, but I don't really have the nostalgia factor, mostly because I didn't really, see the whole first 3 seasons. and that wasn't something when I was growing up. But it is a good movie or a good show, and I would recommend that if you like sci-fi, then this is something you want to go see. It's you know, it's more than a kill your time Netflix series. It's got great cinematography, the acting is very good, and for the most part, the storyline makes sense. There are some couple of plot holes, a lot of I forget who that was in the chat that said that there's a lot of, oh no, problem here, problem there, problem here. Yeah, there is a lot of that. It's a bit much, but overall, I thought it was good, and I would recommend it to somebody.
Well, fantastic. So we're telling the folks in the chat basically is that check it out. If you haven't seen it, it's you know, I don't think you'll regret it. You know, there's a lot more shit you can waste your time on. You know, if you got some hours to kill, this is very bingeable. I think they're kind of counting on that, and I think that's why it went 10. I think if it went, if it was BBC, it would have 6 episodes. You know, and it would be, you know, it would almost be near perfect. But the acting, I agree, man. The acting is fantastic. Molly Parker has always been just top notch and very subtle.
So we've got Waifu Hunter in the chat. He added me. This series. Oh no, the chat moved. Hold on 1 sec.
This series was proved Armored Skeptic right that the Earth and all planets, or for that matter, are round. They're not flat. He did it again. The man is never
It's true.
wrong.
He did it again. He's never wrong. He is the ultimate skeptic. There's only one true skeptic, and that's an armored one.
Oh well, shit, man. So next week is Berserk, the anime classic. I guess, man, we need to start looking at stuff down the road for the the next run of shit that we're going to be covering for the people. We had talked last week about the possibility of starting to look outside of Netflix for stuff, and the chat on that one indicated that they would not mind that in the least. And we had talked about what do you want to wait for, like Expanse season 3 to be over before we talk about it, or let's see. What else?
Well, you know, so Expanse season 1 and 2 are on Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, how do we want to do this? Because I read all the books as well. So, you know, we could always do like a whole 3-week thing where we do season 1, season 2, and season 3 in a row. But I don't know how you feel about that, and that might be a bit much for our audience too.
I don't think season 3 will be done by then. By the time we get there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pornhub next.
Goat
yes.
Man, that's right.
Yes, Goat Man.
All right, yeah, okay. So that's all right. Goat Man seals it. Go Pornhub next.
Yeah. We're gonna do ebony BBWs. That'll be our genre.
Oh, you so crazy.
We're real big into twerking.
Oh,
And
Lord.
cocoa butter.
And cocoa butter. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nobody wants to be ashy. No.
Nobody.
Ashy is not good. So shit. I guess next week we'll have a better plan than this week. It's been an interesting week for both me and Brian. We've been streaming a lot, so we just we're a little stream cuckoo.
Yeah. And I've been sick, so that's not helping. But I'm sure we'll have a nice survey ready to go out next week for what you guys want to choose. Sorry, this week on Twitter, and then we'll read off the survey next week.
All right, I'm down with that. Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it. I guess on that mark, we'll go ahead and we'll call this one a show. Put it in the freezer, as they say. So
Goatman has requested midget on BBW. Sorry, BBBW. Goatman, you should probably know that next genre you're trying to get to is called SSBBW.
Oh.
Yeah, it's supersized.
Bubba, you scaring me. You know this shit too well.
I don't know, man. I've gone to the depths of the internet. I've looked into the abyss.
Oh, anyway, all right. A pair Americans and non-Americans and fucking people. That's it. We're going to say later, taters, and we'll see you next week with our take on Berserk. So until then, this is IRATE Prostate and
Thug Life.
That's right.
Big Fat Bread.
Later.